Welcome, welcome. If you are new here, let me give you a little background quick. I retired going on 8 years ago. I've been working on this garden, I call it the Hill Garden, for a little under 7 years. I'm an old man, I'm 76 years old, but yet I've converted this area, a little more than 10,000 square feet. That was all invasives, mugwort, and more honeysuckle, porcelain berry vine. So little by little, I will be enlarging this garden over the winter. This is August, and I'm going to do a little bit at a time, and hopefully have about 12,000 square feet by the time I'm done. So what I do here, I try to encourage older peoples, retirees, to do this kind of thing. Not necessarily something this big, but do a little native plant garden. I do some other things. I take care of birdhouses. I have a purple martin colony. That's all in my channel. If you haven't been there yet, please check it out, like it, and subscribe. I'm trying to do a video once a week, once every 10 days. And if you subscribe, it'll pop up and you'll at least see what I'm doing, you know. But I'm encouraging anybody to do this kind of thing. You don't have to be a retired person. So maybe I'll inspire you. There's so many beautiful flowers in the garden right now. And not just that, but there's all the animals that depend on them. There's bees and butterflies and the birds and other pollinators, wasps and beetles and all kinds of critters. I have baby rabbits running around, munching on my plants, but don't do too much damage. So there's a lot going on here. I'd like to share it with you and maybe even encourage you a little bit to do some of this stuff too. So hang on, and we will take a look at some of the flowers that are blooming in the Hill Garden in August. So I know I've had these in probably in the May garden and in the June and definitely in the July. These are Heliopsis, false sunflower, but I just wanted to put them in the August garden as well, just to show you these things bloom for months and months. And I know I've said that generally the big butterflies don't like yellow flowers, but I just had a monarch butterfly on this one. So these are beautiful. After 3 months, they still look really nice. And this one is in the shade, by the way. It gets a little bit of sun, but probably why it's the blooms are so perfect. It is a little protected from the harsh sun. But this is like two plants that I don't even know if I planted these. Maybe or maybe not. They may have just reseeded themselves. This is Heliopsis helianthroides, I believe. I'll put it in the video. So that means it looks like Helianthus, but it's Heliopsis. It's false sunflower, and it's a native plant. It's absolutely beautiful. It gets lots of pollinators. This is a good plant for your garden. Easy to control. So here's a couple that still have a little bit of an open flower. They open even more than that in the evening. I have to try to get here one evening to get some pictures. But this is a really nice plant. It's aggressive. It reseeds all over. It's a biennial, as the Latin name suggests. It's Orthera biennis, which means it's a biennial. So what happens is the plant grows in the fall and doesn't flower. Winter's over, comes up the following spring and shoots up in flowers. So these ones I'm looking at right now are about 6 feet tall. So they get big. I do cut them back when I do the Chelsea chop in June on the asters and the goldenrods, which I'll put a card in here so you can see that video if you like. I chop these back as well, and I have lots of them, like this one here, that are only like 3 or 4 feet tall. Hummingbirds like these plants. It is the host plant to a little moth called a primrose moth, which is pink, absolutely beautiful. It lays its eggs on the flowers. The caterpillars eat the flowers and the seeds, and then they pupate, and these pink moths come out, and then they come out at night and they pollinate the plant. So they spend most of their life on this plant. I don't think you will get those pretty pink moss if you don't have primrose in the garden. Mm. It's an important plant. It really is. Ornithera, lioness, evening primrose. It's got a lot of positives going for it. And even when the flowers are kind of closed up during the day, they're still really pretty. So here is the Agastachys funiculum that I showed in the previous video. I think they were either in June or early July, and they were in bloom. Right now, these plants have gone to seed, and the goldfinches just love them. But I cut some of them in the front back right around that time to see if they would rebloom, and they did. Now, of course, they fell down, and they're laying down. But this is pretty cool. They have a lot of nice fresh flowers. There's a little cabbage white butterfly that's enjoying them. I'm going to do that in the future. I have other sections of Anise hyssop, which is the common name for this. So next year I'm going to cut them back, cut half of them back, and leave half of them up. And so this is for the goldfinches now here in August, and down here for the butterflies. A lot of little butterflies on it, and that's what we're going to do. Live and learn. This is round-headed bush clover, Lespedeza capitata. So I like this plant. So it's kind of coming up amongst everything. There's a lot of white snake root around it and some goldenrod. But it's pretty tough. Can handle it, can hold its own. Some of it is going to flower. Let me show you some of the flowers if I can. I have some stills of it too. But they're very pretty. Little white flowers with like a lavender center. And it gets a lot of little tiny bees. I haven't seen bigger bees on it, but it's a really cool plant. It's pretty easy to grow from seed, but you have to scarify it. You have to break that coating a little bit. But I've had pretty good success. I have a few more pet. Now, the problem is that deer and rabbits will eat it. They have, knock on wood, they've never touched this one. How pretty this foliage is. Oh. This one's just coming into bud. There's a little false milkweed bug on it. Very nice. I don't know why they have. I just had 4 big bucks, like 50 feet away from me over here, just munching on the grass. And I do have deer repellent in here, and apparently it's working. But I have had some damage this year, but not on this plant. But they will eat this, protect it. There are several species of butterflies that will use this as a host plant. And being in the pea family, it's a nitrogen fixer. So it'll take nitrogen from the atmosphere and put it into the soil. Round-headed bush clover. It's a really nice plant. It's native to New Jersey, it's native to the whole East Coast. I think all the way down south. So it's a good plant. This is Rudbeckia triloba. So some people consider this a problem in the garden because it reseeds all over. I haven't had too much problem. This is a plant that just appeared. I never planted these, and I have them in about 3 other places. This one was given a lot of room to grow. The other ones are kind of in between things, but this thing is a monster. Absolutely beautiful. It is 4 feet wide by 4 feet high, and it's just a beautiful plant. It gets pollinators. I just had a bunch of little bees on it. It's had a pretty rainy night last night. It's still a little drizzling, but the flowers are little. They're probably 2.5 inches across, but it's okay. It actually started blooming in late July. It's in full bloom now here in August. But Rudbeckia triloba. And I've heard people complain they get too tall. I haven't had them get more than 4 feet tall here. I haven't trimmed them back or anything. The deer have not touched it. The rabbits haven't touched it. It's a good. I think it's a good garden plant. We'll see. We'll give it a couple of years. But while we're here, let's take a look at this partridge pea. Just loaded with bumblebees. They cannot get enough of this. So we had a nice rain last night, so the partridge pea flowers are all open. The plant is happy. This has been blooming since July. Here we are mid-August, and it's still prime. This will go into September easily. So it's another good plant for the garden. It's an annual. It'll die back at the end of the year. It'll leave seeds all over. It's very easy to grow from seed. It's in the pea family, so it fixes nitrogen. So there's a little bit of a complicated process, but especially being an annual, after it dies, it'll release a lot of that nitrogen into the soil for the plants all around it. Maybe that's why this Rudbeckia triloba got so big and beautiful. So Rudbeckia triloba, partridge pea, two really nice native plants for a good piece of the eastern North America. Definitely native to New Jersey. Just alive with bumblebees. These are Rudbeckia subtomentosa. They're called sweet black-eyed Susan or brown-eyed Susan. And this is a species, according to the maps, not quite native to New Jersey, but they're in Connecticut, and one map has Pennsylvania. It's a really beautiful, late blooming Rudbeckia. And they live a long time, unlike Rudbeckia hirta and some of the others that are short lived. These guys are long lived perennial. And they just started blooming. They get pretty tall. They're already 5 feet tall. And they will bloom into the fall. So it's the end of July. They'll go ahead and bloom right till the end of August, at least, probably longer. Really beautiful Rudbeckia, in the aster family. Nice plant. They're so bright, they're brighter than a lot of the other Rudbeckias. So this is a nice plant for your garden. They're well behaved. They stand up, very, very drought tolerant. We haven't had hardly any rain, and it's been in the 90s some days. And this is the end of July. Look how perfect they are. This is a plant for your garden. Easy to grow from seed. All these are from seed. Seedlings last year. I planted seedlings last year. This is how quickly your native perennial plants will establish themselves in the garden. No reason to spend a lot of money on, larger perennials in 2 or 3 gallon pots. You can start them from seed, and in 2 years, this is what you have, And you're not even seeing them all. I have them all over the garden. Rudbeckia subtomentosa. Sweet brown-eyed Susan, I think they call it. Here's a patch of Queen Anne's lace. Ducca carota, I believe. It's also known as wild carrot. It is not native to the United States and is considered invasive in many places. I'm not a purist. I let it grow here on the hill garden. It's very hot today. Otherwise, it would be covered with bumblebees buzzing around the top. I'm assuming that it's a buzz pollination thing that they do. Very cool. And the plant is really pretty. This is the end of July, beginning of August. It's in full bloom. Look at it. It's beautiful. And being in the carrot family, it's the host plant to black swallowtail butterfly, which used to be a really, really common butterfly here, and they are not common anymore. So I have a few patches of it. It's controllable. If I didn't want this here, I could have pulled it all out in the spring. It's an annual. It'll die back in the winter, but then it reseeds all over and it'll come back again. The deer will eat it. So anything that grows outside the perimeter of this garden, the deer munch right down. So for me, it's not a problem, And I have some non-native plants in the garden. The garden is probably 95% native plants, but this one's pretty. It's in a public park. People want to see pretty flowers, when they come here. I get a lot of traction from this garden. There's always people here taking pictures, looking for hummingbirds, looking for butterflies, bird watching, especially in the fall and the winter. So this garden gets a lot of traction, but it needs to look nice. I don't let it grow as completely wild. So, something you can do to manage a garden, retire from nature, have a purpose in your life, get outside, get some sun. It's 95 degrees and humid here today. So I'm not going to stay out here too long, but I like to get out a little bit every day, no matter what, winter and summer. Okay, wild carrot, Queen Anne's lace, little butterflies all around it right now. Okay, so that's just some of the things that are blooming here. I may do a part two. We'll see. If you go to my channel, you'll see that I've done the flowering plants in this garden. By the way, almost all native plants. There's a few things in here that aren't native, but the majority are native plants, which is really important. And if you go to my channel, you'll hear me talk about it all the time. But I've shown this garden from the dead of winter into April and May and June, 2 parts in July, and now here we are in August, and we're going to do September. And I have a lot of different species of asters in here. Incidentally, I did not plant any of these asters, and the majority of solidago, the goldenrods, I didn't plant them. I just took out the invasive plants. I put down deer repellent to keep the deer from eating everything, and this stuff all just came up. I did plant these. I didn't plant these evening primrose. So much of this garden, 70 or 80% of this garden is just stuff that came up. All I did was take out the invasive species and let nature do the rest. So that's important information, I think, for you to know. So anyway, like and subscribe and look at the garden. You don't even have to. You can just go to my website and you can see June, July, August, April, May, dead of winter, when there was snow on the ground, and we looked at all the footprints in the garden in the snow. So like I said, this isn't just for retirees, but retirees like myself have a lot of time on our hands. We can do this stuff little at a time, an hour or two a day. I need to get out of the house every day. I'll go crazy if I stay in the house. Even dead of winter, I just bundle up and I get out here. So hopefully I inspire you. I want you to enjoy your life and get out and enjoy nature and help the planet, you know. And when this was all invasive species, there was no food here for all the little animals that live here now. People come here, they're amazed. They're like, well, I didn't see any butterflies in this whole garden. This is an 800-acre garden. I didn't see any butterflies until I came here. This is only a little over 10,000 square feet. So, okay, please like and subscribe. Wait for the next one. It'll be up in a week or 10 days, and I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll look at some flowers we didn't get today. All right. Thanks very much.